Want to bring in pollster and political strategist Frank Luntz to our discussion this morning. You've been looking at this runoff in Georgia and talking to lots of people and polling. Where do you think things stand right now?
So I'm trying to understand specifically who's got the turnout advantage, because in the end, no one's going to change their votes, maybe 1 or 2%, but you got to figure out who's going to vote. And after watching the last 2 weeks, where so many Trump people have been disillusioned because their candidate lost for president, and we still find that 55% of Trump voters in Georgia, 55% believe Donald Trump was elected president, and so they're mad. Despite that, the Republicans have a slight advantage. First, by 46 to 42%, they would rather see a Republican at this time represent the state in Washington. The key that I'm looking at are the 12% that would rather have one of each party. Now, the Democrats have to win both seats for them to gain control of the Senate, so a split vote will not help them. The other thing that I'm watching is the turnout interest. 80% of Republicans are definitely going to vote, only 70% of Democrats. So that can give you a 1 or 2% advantage for the Republicans, but, and this is a message for the President of the United States, if he continues to disillusion voters, and you've got the numbers up right there, actually that's coronavirus, we're getting to that in 1 second. If you continue to disillusion voters by saying that the elections were rigged and that your vote doesn't matter, this could have severe consequences for the administration in trying to keep those 2 seats Republican. I would argue that what Donald Trump says and does over the next 6 weeks is going to determine the outcome of the Georgia Senate race and may determine the outcome of our country overall.
Before we get to the COVID polling that you've done, which is fascinating because it really crosses political lines to some degree, or really is directed at political lines. My question to you is, how rational do you think voters are in Georgia or around the country when they think about the implication, if you will, of their vote? The reason I ask is I've talked to what might be described as center-left voters who actually would like the Senate to be Republican, really to act as simply a brake on the whole system. They like gridlock. They would say that they're Democrats, but they actually like the idea of gridlock. There are others who obviously very much would like to turn the Senate D, and then there's others who would like it to be Republican for policy reasons and otherwise. How do you think that actually works in reality?
In reality is that nobody likes gridlock, but nobody likes extremism or radical policies either. And that's the key issue here. Is this the Joe Biden who ran for president, or is this the Joe Biden of Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and AOC? And voters still don't know that. So while they don't want gridlock, they want to prevent the more extreme elements, the repeal of the tax cuts, creating 2 new states, packing the Supreme Court. And the only way that they can do that is by voting Republican.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.